Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for character sheets and like and subscribe for a pinch of paprika next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Vision, Marvel's answer to Frosty the Snowman, in that he was animated when something was placed on his head, he became immediately friendly, and is constantly aware of his own mortality.
But he waved goodbye saying, "Don't you cry, I'll be back again someday."
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to be invincible with some vibranium in our cranium and even more so in our torso. Next, we need lasers with some radiant damage to clip the wings of our foes. Finally, we'll get our own wings. Not actually wings, but the ability to fly high and walk through walls, but only in a fight, otherwise use the door. It creeps people out. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your charisma and your strength high. Charisma will be number 1. Yes, you're smart, but your powers are coming from your mind stone, which means that they're technically inherent to you, so we'll go for a charisma-based casting class. Strength next, you can yeet cars and go hand to hand with the biggest baddies in the bay, or the plains, really anywhere. I just wanted to keep the alliteration going as long as possible. Constitution after that, only one thing can kill you, someone reaching into your head and ripping out your brain. What are the odds of that happening? Twice. Follow that up with intelligence. You're hooked up to the Mind Stone, basically meaning you've got a little more RAM than everyone else, except for maybe Beta Ray Bill. Wisdom is a bit low. You're not great at reading a room, and we'll dump dexterity. We just don't need it for anything. Vision is a robot, which in a way is the most variant a human can be. In a much more literal way though, it isn't, so roll up a Warforged from Eberron to get +2 Constitution and +1 Strength. The +1 can go anywhere, I just want to wear heavy armor. Or I guess integrate with it using integrated protection, letting you fuse with a set of armor so it can't be removed without your permission, and it gets +1 to its AC. Your constructed resilience makes you immune to disease, you have advantage on saves against being poisoned, and are immune to poison damage. You also don't need to eat, drink, or sleep. Instead, you can take a sentry's rest, where you get to stay awake as long as you stand still, giving you the benefits of a long rest. It's like sleep mode, but you don't actually have to use power. I recommend just fully shutting your tech down for a lower electricity bill. Take investigation for your free skill. You don't really have a background since you're kind of a baby, but Sage gives you Arcana and History, as well as the ability to know where you need to go to Google stuff. We'll kick things off as a fighter because I want vibranium, and that's heavy. Well, actually it's super light, but in D&D it's gotta be heavy armor. Fighters get 2 skills from the fighter list. Go for Athletics and Perception. You get a fighting style like Unarmed Fighting from the class feature variants Unearthed Arcana. It might be in Tasha's now, but it was also there. This lets you deal 1d6 plus your strength modifier with your unarmed attacks, 1d8 if you got 2 free hands, and you deal 1d4 damage when you grapple someone, and an extra d4 of damage when you hit a grappled target. Sure, you could use Thor's Hammer, but that's sort of a one-time thing. You also get Second Wind here, letting you recover 1d10 plus your fighter level as a bonus action for a little self-repair once per short rest. Multi-classing at level 2, everyone get your shot of water ready because we need to unlock the power of the Mind Stone. Since it's part of what makes you exist, I'm gonna say it connects to your soul, your sorcerer soul, your divine soul. Divine soul sorcerers are favored by the gods, letting you add 2d4 to an attack roll or saving throw once per short rest. Thor likes you. Boom. God. Favor. The real reason to choose the Holy Soul is so that you can mix the Cleric spell list with the Sorcerer spell list for spells like Sacred Flame, to force a Dexterity saving throw of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and Charisma modifier, dealing 1d8 radiant damage to those that fail for a little at-will laser. Light lets you see in the dark with your dumb Warforged eyes. Resistance gives a creature you touch an extra d4 to add to saving throws for some weird phasing luck. And Shocking Grasp is a melee spell attack that deals 1d8 lightning damage to a creature while preventing them from taking reactions for a little taser. If you want a big laser though, Guiding Bolt is a first level spell that lets you make a ranged spell attack, dealing 4d6 radiant damage and gives the next person to attack that target advantage. So it's an offense and support play at the same time. Shield of Faith gives a creature +2 to their AC for up to 10 minutes depending on your concentration, which can set your AC to 21 at level 2. Most things at level 2 are going to really struggle to hit that, even Hawkeye. And hitting things consistently is like his whole job. Second level sorcerers get a Font of Inspiration with sorcery points you can use to recover spell slots, letting you recharge a little bit as you need to. For this level spell, Disguise Self lets you change your appearance for an hour, including your clothing, so you can manifest a cape or make yourself look like the dude from A Knight's Tale. Not Heath, the assistant guy. like him. People can see through this with an investigation check against your spell DC, but your girlfriend probably won't mind. Third level sorcerers get meta magic, letting you spend your sorcery points to augment your spells with things like extended spell to double a spell's duration, which will help us with some of our buffs later. Distance spell doubles the range of a spell, letting you shoot your laser 240 feet away if you want to. For this level spell, dark vision gives a creature 60 feet of dark vision for 8 hours. I wish Warforged just had dark vision, but it's not concentration. So if you think you're going to space or underground, pop this in the morning. Fourth level sorcerers get an ability score improvement, round up the charisma and the strength. We've got odd numbers galore in this build, and that hurts me. It really does. Thankfully, nothing will hurt you after you cast the shield spell, which adds 5 to your AC as a reaction. So you got Shield of Faith up and integrated plate mail. That's 26 for the non-vibranium villains to try and get through. Fifth level sorcerers can learn third level spells. Haste is like a supercharged version of Shield of Faith, not only adding 2 to your AC, but also giving you double movement speed, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and an extra action you can use for one attack, a dodge, disengage, or dash action, making you a little bit better than the people who weren't brought to life by pouring vibranium in a jello mold with an infinity stone and zapping it with god magic. Keep in mind, if you don't hold concentration on it, you'll miss out on an action or reaction the next turn, just needing a second to reboot. Honestly, I wish my computer could reset in 6 seconds. 6th level Divine Soul sorcerers get empowered healing, but you don't have healing spells, so it doesn't matter. For this level spell, counterspell lets you shut down spells of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a charisma check of 10 plus the spell's level. We're not going to be great at avoiding fireballs with the dumped dexterity, so what if you just erased them? Vision's powers are so weirdly defined, there's a lot of room for interpretation. 7th level sorcerers can learn 4th level spells. Stone Skin lets you give yourself resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for up to an hour depending on your concentration. Remember when Hawkeye tried to punch you? It was cute. 8th level sorcerers get an ability score improvement. Let's get that charisma up. You're pretty focused on the ghost laser robot stuff over the punchy stuff for now. For this level spell, we'll scoop up protection from energy from the 3rd level for resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage for an hour. Stone Skin is probably better, but if you know you're fighting Electro or someone with a gimmick damage type, it might be worth it to invest in this instead. 9th level sorcerers get 5th level spells. Legend Lore lets you tap into the Mind Stone for some information about a person, place, or thing of legendary renown. The more you already know, the more you get to know, so it's nice that you've already got those knowledge skills. Making Vision a wizard was considered, but wizards don't get lasers. For some reason, the gods of Faerun are really into the pew-pew damage, so you've either got to sign up with one or have one as your dad. Thor is your dad. Tony Stark is your other dad. You have 2 dads, and that's great. 10th level sorcerers get another meta magic option. Quickened Spell lets you cast a spell as a bonus action that would normally take an action to cast, letting you get combat ready much faster. For this level spell, Flame Strike creates a 20-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder of holy fire that deals 4d6 fire damage and 4d6 of radiant damage to creatures inside that fail a dexterity saving throw, half as much on a success. This will let you open up a brain blast like your Jimmy Neutron. 11th level sorcerers can learn 6th level spells. Sunbeam lets you shoot a 60-foot line of radiant damage that deals 6d8 radiant damage to creatures that fail a constitution saving throw, half as much to those that succeed. If they failed, they're also blinded until the start of your next turn. You can do this every round for a minute depending on your concentration, so unfortunately you can't run this with haste at the same time, but maybe if one of your teammates cast haste on you, like Tony gives everyone else buffs, why wouldn't he buff his little baby boy? 12th level sorcerers get another ability score improvement, letting us cap off our charisma modifier for maximum technological superiority. 13th level sorcerers can learn 7th level spells. Etherealness lets you go into the border ethereal plane, letting you move through walls that aren't connected to the ethereal plane. You can move up or down with double the movement. Creatures that aren't on the ethereal plane can't hurt you while you're there. They also can't see you, but you can see them. Unfortunately, you can't go in and out, so it ends once you're tangible again. Walking through walls is tricky to do in D&D, probably because it would fully break the first D. Imagine Uliaxis, the Great Lich, taunting the adventurers, warning them of the traps that will surely end their feeble lives as they enter his lair. And then this tin can just walks right into the boss room. 14th level Divine Soul sorcerers get angelic form, giving you a 30-foot flying speed without concentration. You also get wings, but I'm more focusing on the flight. If Wanda wants you to have some bat wings, you do that for her though. Now that we've got all those spells we needed, let's bounce over to Fighter again because I really don't want any spells of 8th level or higher. We'll get 1 extra ability score improvement and I want you to be good at fighting. Second level fighters get an action surge, letting you make 2 actions in 1 turn, once per short rest, to mix some punches into your lasers if that's something you're into. Third level fighter can choose a martial archetype, and the Psi Knight was made official in Tasha's. You have a psionic talent die, but the cool kids call it a Psi die, which is a D6. You can use this to reduce damage as a reaction when you or a creature within 30 feet of you is going to take damage, adding your intelligence modifier to that roll. You can add the Psi die plus your intelligence modifier and force damage to 1 attack per round, or move a willing creature 30 feet as long as they're large or smaller, though that will get rid of 1 of the die. You've got a number of these equal to double your proficiency bonus though, so I wouldn't sweat it, especially because you can get 1 back as a bonus action once per short rest anyway. Fourth level fighters get an ability score improvement, get that strength up to punch more better and lift things like a forklift. A forklift with a British accent. Fifth level fighters get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks instead of 1 with your action for big punching with a little more speed. Your Psi die also bumps up to a D8, or at least it will start at a D8. Our capstone is the 6th level of fighter for 1 last ability score improvement, letting us cap off our strength modifier for super inhuman strength. You're not inhuman, that's like a different thing, but you're also not human and you're strong. Anyway, now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're a tank with 19 base AC, 21 with haste, and 26 with a shield spell, making you very hard to hit. You're also loaded with radiant damage, which is a particularly good type of damage. Finally, you're incredibly mobile with extra movement speed from haste, the ability to fly, and the ability to walk through walls if you absolutely need to. For weaknesses, dexterity and wisdom are the 2 most common saving throws, and you're bad at them. You're also pretty committed to the radiant damage, so if you have to fight an angel for some reason, that could be an issue. Finally, if you want to fight up front, you've got pretty mediocre HP, somewhere around 130, so failing those saves could get pretty deadly pretty quickly. But you're made of vibranium and nothing can break through that. Fly around, phase through walls, and shoot your laser. Just remember that your value to the team might put a target on your head. On your back. Why did I say head? Thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow. We've got more videos every single day this month. Make sure you're subscribed, ringing the bell, and joining the Patreon for this, sheet, and more. And sub to 2 Lock and Mango for more 2 Lock fun.